Making your hyperPad project compatible for all aspect ratios may sound a little intimidating. So here are some tips that can help you achieve this. Use relative positioning. It allows objects to adapt their position based on screen aspect ratio. This can be toggled by selecting an object, navigating to the Transform tab, and pressing the % sign near the top of the screen. Once toggled, your object will be able to adapt to various screens. And you probably have noticed that your object is going a little out of place, and that can be easily fixed by setting that object anchor to the corner of the screen, or anywhere you prefer. Organize your GUI objects into groups. This will help tidy up your UI across devices. I would split the screen into 4 separate parts, and that's how I would group up my objects. Each object will stay in the same group for each aspect ratio. I just move all the object anchors to wherever I want them to attach. Oh, and you can group the objects in any way you want. This is just a very basic and reliable template, and I think it can fit any game. Do not use relative positioning for objects in the bottom left margin of the screen. Why? Well, if you haven't noticed, the bottom left corner of the screen never actually moves. It stays stationary. Therefore, you really don't need to use relative positioning for objects in that area. Unless you wanted to do this, which I don't recommend. Make your GUI as small as possible so it can fit on all screens. This is pretty straightforward. What? What do you mean I have to explain? I have to? Don't make the UI too small to the point that the controls are too difficult to use. And don't make it too big where it takes a large portion of smaller screens. You kinda want a balance between those two. So just experiment with it. What? That's not it? You want more? Fine, I'll give you more. Okay, can you come here? Look at this. I wrote a 5-page essay on this. Are you happy now? Adjust the zoom to fit all aspect ratios, especially on smaller screens. On smaller screens, you have a smaller field of view, and you probably want your screen to cover around the same area for each aspect ratio. You could simply decrease the zoom of the screen and that would fix everything, but I think there's a better approach to this. Let's dive into the behaviors. I would divide 32 by the height of the screen and multiply it by the screen zoom that I want, which is 100 in this case. And whatever I get, I just plug it in to this behavior and that will set the zoom of the screen. What this is doing is zooming out on smaller screens, but keeping the same zoom on larger screens. So on all aspect ratios, you practically have the same field of view. I use this exact formula in some of my games, but you may like it a little different and that's understandable. You can change out the numbers and experiment with it. Those are all the tips that I have for this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, or if you didn't enjoy it, leave a dislike, be honest. Anyways, if you would like to ask me any questions, I have a Discord server for that. Check it out. We have a community of hyperPad users and even some of the developers are in the server, which is awesome. If you would like to join the server, the link should be in the description. Thank you for watching the video. I hope to see you next time. Goodbye!